And there are men in the box, and it comes for Pablo Hernandez, and Pablo Hernandez scores a goal for Leeds United! Oh! Goal, a goal, a goal! Yeboah. On he goes! Oh! Even by his standards. Breathtakingly brilliant.
Hang on a minute, here's Nelson, can he win it? Yes he can! Leeds United are on their way to Wembley! Johnny Howson again!
And the ball's over Brown, and this is Beckford, he just ran away from him, but he'll still get a strike in and goal! And score at the Stretford end for Leeds United! And it doesn't get any better than that for a Leeds centre-forward.
Good ball, Becchio well placed! Leeds United draw level on aggregate!
Well, the roof has just been lifted off Elland Road. What an incredible noise we are witnessing here.
Well, Brentford won, Leeds United won. This is your instant match reaction. A game that probably won't live long in the memory, particularly that first half performance. And let's be honest, it was a very boring game of football. But Leeds United, Dylan, we have taken a point on the road when it looked like we were going to lose the game. Calvert-Lewin pops up and gets us back into the game. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, you kind of summed it up there. The first half for me was very boring. It was, you'd be taking your eyes off the game. You'd be more concentrated on the banners that's going around the stadium or something in particular that a fan was doing, if I'm being honest with you.
It was flat,
As
wasn't it?
Tom says there, it was very flat, yeah. Same with Richard, frustrating at times. I think what really gets me, the negative side of it, is the last three performances from City, you know, showing that determination, that fight, desire in a game, the performance itself in the games, and then obviously we beat Chelsea 3-1, and then the draw obviously at Liverpool, and then we go out there against Brentford, who, let's be honest with you lads, they didn't really
felt like it was there for the taking game, Dylan, didn't it? Like, I don't know what it was through the whole match. It was just like if Leeds just upped it a little bit, that little notch, the game felt like it was definitely there for the taking. Their goal was a poor one to concede, Dylan. Be all with the initial block, you think should be doing a little bit better. It's back into the danger area, and then of course Jordan Henderson scores his first goal for Brentford, and typical it's against Leeds United, and you know, be all puts it in the back of the net. But it just felt like one of them games where it was. We didn't really kind of go for it. It felt like we'd more to give, and we didn't. And when Brentford went one up, you're thinking it's not your day.
We got away with one. Let's be honest with you, when they did score that goal, same thing. All of us were kind of assuming, here we go again. You know, back choking on a load of players. Because as soon as the goal went in and went back for tip off, you could see Brendan Aronson and Willie Nanto coming on, kind of saying to himself, you know, we're always going on about being pre-active as a proactive, etc. It felt like that again. Look, did
you feel like, Dylan, that in the lead up to their goal, because I got the feeling again, and let us know in the chat as well, guys, we're going to start pulling up a lot of comments here now. I felt like before their goal was coming, Dylan, that it felt like it was going a little bit stale for Leeds United. Not that we were massively on the back foot and they had a load of chances, but it just felt like, Daniel, it's time now to make the change. And then, of course, Brentford scored, and then we decided to make the change. And it just felt like it came 5 minutes too late, that it should have been done before that, to kind of ignite it a little bit. It always felt like for Leeds United that we were just missing that little bit of a spark in the game. So again, I look at Daniel Farke there to maybe change it a little bit when it looks like it's not working. But I do have to say, Dylan Calvert-Lewin, a massive shout out to him, 4 goals and 4. As I said during the week in one of the videos, is I don't care how he scores goals, whether they're penalties, tap-ins off his arse, or headers like that, once he's putting the ball in the back of the net. That's absolutely fantastic, Dylan. 4 games in a row, and a brilliant, absolutely fantastic ball into the box for Willie Nanto. What a header from Calvert-Lewin.
Great header, great. He's been doing that all game, Darren. Every time the ball's been hit up to him, he's just non-stop. I have to give him 10 out of 10, because I thought, to be honest, at times, Okafor, he kind of showed glimpses of hope, and he was our main threat in the first half. In particular, I think he created.
He was good, wasn't he, Okafor? Yeah.
And Calvert-Lewin was getting on the end of them. Calvert-Lewin was actually very unlucky with one of them. It was a great ball from Bogle in the first half, kind of around the player. Calvert-Lewin gets his hand on it, but he doesn't look to see does Okafor make the run into the box. Yeah. It's a square chance across the box. The ball goes obviously out of play. But like, that's what you want to see from your striker. And Calvert-Lewin's showing all great signs at the minute. It's not just his contribution of goals or bringing players into play. It's his overall general play, getting the ball and dragging the players up the pitch. And that's what I like about him, if I'm being honest with you. And he's really starting to become his true self in this team.
Yeah, it's classy scoring. Let's pull up a couple of the comments here because they're flying in. Leon says here, I had my frustrations, but overall, I think it was a good point on to the next one. And I probably think that's my takeaway from it as well, Dylan. Again, look, it's Leeds United on the road. And Brentford, we spoke about it in our match preview. They do have a very good record at home at the GTEC Stadium. So I don't think a point is a bad one on the road. Palace up next. You take it and you move on. Luckily enough, Aston Villa did us a favour as well today against West Ham. So I think that's overall a decent point on the road. But there is a little bit of frustration there that felt like we could have went for it. Felt like Brentford were there for the taking today for me.
I think at one stage there, I sent you a photo, Starr coming up with 11 shots. You know, that's what's frustrating. And at times, especially in the midfield, Anton Stack, you know, he was falling over his feet at times. Just have the shot. I thought Tanaka at times went missing today, being honest.
What about the passing, Dylan? Wait, did you feel? I
thought
a lot of our passing was wayward. Like when I think of Stack, even Tanaka as well. When you think of Tanaka, you think he looks after the ball very well. A couple of sloppy passes from him. Set pieces as well were poor today as well. I felt from Anton Stack as well. It felt like a very kind of no energy that Connor has here. It felt like there was a no energy performance in the game whatsoever. But I think overall you take the point and you run out you down in London like what?
Yeah, of course.
Says here, a partial remover of the away form and in London as well. Like you take it, you move on.
You have to. I think it's just from me, as I said, going back to the recent performance, you'd want that kind of hype and going into these games and a bit of fighting and there was a fight at times, but then at times, as you said, it just seemed like lacking energy, lacking kind of just motivation in the game at itself. Then you're talking about we go 1-0 down and you're kind of saying what's going on here. But it seemed like in the first half they controlled possession, but they didn't do anything with it, and we created more chances. As I said, Okafor kind of being our primary player for doing that. So unlucky, but lucky at the same time. And then, as Mr. Whitesnake said, being down in London, we'll take the point and we'll keep running.
As Richard Hogan says here as well, Nanto showed us quality with that cross, and I think that's what the game was screaming out for. That you could see they were able to bring on Damsgaard for the goal as well. You could see his quality in the lead up to the Brentford goal, and Leeds United felt like they were missing that today. We got that there when Nanto came on the pitch, quality cross into the box. Dylan, there was a couple of shouts for penalties. Obviously, they had a penalty torn down with the offside goal, obviously on Gabby Goodmunson. They're one of them, Dylan, where you get away with them 1 week and they're given the next week. It looks like VAR were going to give it apart from the offside goal. But a few minutes after that, Calvert-Lewin, it was the same thing.
Yeah.
He was being pulled out as well, and it wasn't even reviewed by VAR. Felt like VAR, 1, was getting involved in everything today, and 2, was taking an age to make a decision.
I think it was Alan Smith on commentary, and he actually said it was very similar to the one that Gabby done when that was led to the offside. Yeah. But it doesn't really make any sense because, look, let's be honest with you, if that player hadn't been offside, that was given for a penalty.
Oh, that's what I think, yeah.
So what does the difference make when it's up the other end with Calvert-Lewin? By the way, you can physically see the Brentford's player is over Calvert-Lewin's shoulders and pulls it back. Whether he dives or not, doesn't matter. His hands are up on his back. But then it's not given. Yeah. So Alan Smith coming out with a comment, turning around saying, similar to it's nothing to do with being similar whatsoever. That penalty wasn't given for Brentford because the player was offside. The play didn't count. Ours did. So, look, it's one of them things, whether you want to call it or not.
Yeah.
VAR got a lot involved, and, as Stephen said in the group chat as well, you're kind of just sitting there waiting. And it seemed like the ref couldn't get control of the game at times. If I'm being honest with you, I think we got away with a few challenges that he kind of gave our way. There should have been fouls towards Brentford. So, I just think the referee couldn't really get control and kept going to VAR for big decisions like that. But as I said, yet again, we were very, very lucky. Unlucky.
I think Kieran has it here as well. And I think if there was one word you pick to subscribe that performance today from Leeds United would be frustrating, because we could have dragged Brentford back down with us. It just felt like they were there for the taking. It felt like Leeds United didn't really give it, what we could have away from home. And this is what we've been saying about Leeds United and Dana Farke away from home, is that we always feel a little bit too reserved in that game today. And like that, Richard mentioned it earlier on there in the chat, it felt like the substitution should have came 5 or 10 minutes before that, because you could feel the game was just gone a little bit stale for Leeds United. We couldn't get a full hold in it. We'd no creativity. We'd no spark going forward. We couldn't really offer anything up front to Calvert-Lewin as well. So again, that's where I looked at our manager a little bit, and we spoke about it in our preview, Dylan, is as good as last week was against Chelsea and Liverpool, this away form hoodoo still hangs over Daniel Farke for me. Look, it's a point on the road today. But again, it felt like we didn't really do what we could have to take all 3 points today. And as Kieran says, to pull Brentford right back down beside us.
I think that's a dogfight is best way to describe it. We've seen it with Leeds, with the players that are around us, the teams that are around us. You know, you kind of want to keep them margins between 1 or 2 points, give or take, because as after January, you know, that the gaps start to get a little bit bigger. Everyone kind of knows that. So I think today would have been ideal, considering the recent performances, to go in and take 3 points. And as I said, Darren, like, we're very unlucky. Yeah, we'll be all there. Like, just real quick on his thoughts, I thought he was very unlucky. He was sluggish at times in the middle of the park. But I actually think he done all right. But going back to Brentford, it's just frustrating. I know it's London and I know it's an away game. I just think like we could have really got something out of that one. And these are the types of games you go back to Fulham, you go back to, let's be honest, Newcastle. You know, these are ones where we could have been like, should have got them. We can't keep going, it's just a point on the road. I get that, I do. But we were all over them. Like, Brentford weren't great, lads. They really weren't. They had possession, but they didn't offer anything with it.
It's definitely a game that's not going to live long in the memory.
No.
Very, very little quality in the game whatsoever. So it definitely is one of them. We're going to do a couple of more of these comments till they're flying in. Keep getting your comments in. LUFC, Lee says, I think we both deserve the point. I'm disappointed because the game was there for the taking. Two very poor teams, no quality at all. And I think that's it. Yeah, I think the general feeling is the same in the chat here. Perry was poor with his distribution, poor kickouts. We've said that, lads, haven't we? We've said that about his kickouts are poor. Look, I think his shot stopping is there. That's what he's there for. That's what he's there to do, is keep the ball out of the back of the net. His kicking is particularly poor. I'm hoping that this is something that he's working on and we can see it improving as the season goes on. But I agree with you. The distribution there again today from Perry was not great. Russ says, big up Darren and Dillo. Happy with that. Was least we deserved. Let's go, Leeds. I agree with you as well, Russ. I do think it was the least we deserved. We could have had all 3. We had 17 shots in the game and only 4 of them were on target. LUFC Lee says, Fark out as always. Here we go. Poor game, but delighted with the point. Yeah, I think so, Dylan. That's the general one as well. What did you think, Dylan, of Calvert-Lewin and Okafor? Because Okafor in the first half for me showed signs of his quality in the second half again. I thought he did taper off. And that kind of seems to be with Okafor, Dylan, is that we just can't get that consistency out of him for the whole game. The first half, he had a really good chance to put Leeds United 1-0 up. 3 really good opportunities, but one in particular where he could have put Leeds United 1-0 up. The second half, he faded, and I think that's where you look, Dylan, we're missing Mecha now a little bit up front with Calvert-Lewin.
I think when it comes to Okafor, every time that he does start, every time he comes on, you want him to do well, because we all know he's an exciting player. We've seen him in the pre-season game against AC Milan and Dublin. He just has that threat going forward. You don't know what he's going to do with the ball. The dribbling-esque that he brings to it, whether it's a step over, cuts in, or he likes to dominate and go on the left. But it's starting to really kind of get frustrating now with the fact that he's still settling in, he's still settling in, etc. I kind of don't want to hear it anymore. Now, not necessarily that he needs to be banging in goals, but especially in the first half, I thought he was our best player in the sense of attacking threat.
Yeah.
He showed glimpses of that bit of spark, that quality. He kind of revved everyone up, got everyone up the pitch. When he got the ball, he was just going at the players. But no one was kind of clear cut and nothing was coming off it. And then, as I said, there was a chance that Calvert-Lewin had. And he puts across the box, but Okafor is nowhere to be seen. So we've seen at times as well with him on the defending aspect, he doesn't get back. But then he wasn't in the box for them types. So it's simply down to what Fark said in a press conference a few weeks ago about players, the attacking players playing off each other. That, you know, we've done this in training, that they all need to be on the same page. It's just going to take time for him to settle in. That's the only thing that he can come out of it. But it is starting to get frustrating. And even at times, maybe not throw Nanto up top, maybe throw Pero in there. But he done all right. He does look dangerous though. He does.
Russ says, why was no one picking up Henderson for that goal? Yet again, people were ball watching. This seems to be the reason and the rhetoric, doesn't it, around Leeds United conceding goals this season, is that there always seems to be a free man and not tracking the runner into the box. It was unlucky. It looked like it was going to hit the post, and Bial was obviously, trying to stop it. If he gets a stronger foot in it, he keeps it out. And of course, as head Jordan Henderson, it's his first goal for Brentford, and typical that it comes against Leeds United. Dylan, we obviously set up, but I want to go back to the starting line, if we set up with the 3-5-2 or the 5-3-2, whatever way you want to call it, I think teams are starting to expect this now from Leeds United, because you could see Brentford set up to counteract that, and they did very well against it for a lot of the game. And then you could see the game turn on its head when we come back away from that. We bring on Brendan Aronson, we bring on Willie Gnonto the same way that we did against Liverpool, and then we were able to get a foothold in the game as well. So is it a thing, Dylan? Because we were all calling for the 3-5-2 weeks ago that it suits this Leeds United side. Is it a thing now where Daniel Farke just can't go with it every single time, because Leeds United are going to start getting found out? It's time to vary it up a little bit, I think, for me.
He's always on about, the principles of the game, and saying he's not married to certain formations in the game. He's obviously alluded to that a lot, and even before the game. But I'm kind of happy at the fact that he does have a plan B there. We go back to previous games, even last season in the Championship. He's been set in one way only, waiting for 78 minutes, nothing's working, and then it's struck on a lot of players. So, especially the Liverpool game, how he's able to change it up in game when we can clearly see that he needs a shake up is what's good. But yeah, you hit the nail on the head again. If it's a thing with Leeds, even Keith Andrews, he clearly knew that was going to happen, whether we were 3-5-2 or 4-3-3. It seems to be the only way that we're playing. And he knows the players, he knows the metrics of what it takes with Leeds and how well that we set up. So maybe it's a possibility whether another formation to throw in there, if possible, or bring just certain players. I still think Pirro should be getting games. That's just me, though.
I think like that, Dylan, today for me is that it's a game where you want to see Pirro come on. But I just think the writing is on the wall for Joe Pirro, Dylan. I just don't think Farke fancies him in the Premier League, which is a pity, because we haven't really seen him much again. Like he doesn't get on today, and you're thinking if you need a goal, get back into the game, you're probably putting, the best goal scorer that we've had for the last 2 years on the pitch, but he doesn't do that. So it's going to be interesting. Dylan, Pirro's another conversation. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with him in January.
Even with Jack Harrison coming on, Darren, I don't know about you, it kind of annoyed me a little bit.
I was just happy he wasn't going left back, Dylan, because I'd prefer to go when I see Jack Harrison coming on the pitch. I was like, just do not put him left back, because we seen what happened against Forest.
It seemed to be a lot of noise at the start of the game. Obviously, going back to that game, the goal that Jack Harrison scored, but it was very frustrating, because when I seen him come on, it was kind of like, oh, he's going to be the saviour of the game sort of thing. And I'm kind of looking at it in the sense, as I say, go back to Pirro, or just say if Longstaff was uninjured, or whoever could have came on ahead of Jack Harrison. I think it just frustrated me. That really annoyed me. I don't know what he brings to this team.
Just whatever. If he's coming on for Leeds United, I'm going to support him for as long as he's here. Like again, that's a topic for another day with the whole Jack Harrison thing. Dylan, what do you think of Gabby Goodmunson today? Because he's one of them that I look at and I really like as a player, but then there's times that he frustrates me as well a little bit. Jayden Bogle, I thought, was actually sensational on the right hand, so I thought he was brilliant. Jayden Bogle today could have got a little bit more out of him attacking wise, but I thought he was very good. But Gabby Dillon on the left hand side, we've seen injury. Hopefully his injury isn't too bad. We've seen James Justin. But what did you make of his performance today, Gabby Goodmunson? Because I felt it was a little bit mixed. There was a couple of times that he was giving it away, not really doing, and there was times he was playing for that. He's one of them players. So it's hard. I don't know whether he's good, I don't know whether he's a bad player. That's basically it. Like,
look, giddy up Gabby, that's what I call him. He likes to slows possession down. When he's on that left hand side, he's kind of predictable. Let's be honest with you. You know that he's going to run at this player, but let's be honest, lads, 9 times out of 10, he gets by his player and he gets the cross off. So if we're going to keep doing that, we just need to be putting him in the back of the net. But I like him. I do. He is, at times you can see that he's getting dragged all over the place. Or I think they had a chance, and he was at the halfway line, and it was Strouk had to come across and cover for him. So it's on the backtrack for the defensive side of it, but he's kind of up and down at times. But he's kind of hard to judge because he's exciting to watch as well when he does have the ball at his feet. So hopefully it's not a bad injury, and but I do like James Justin as well. It's a good backup to have to bring him on. Yeah.
I don't think a bad point, Dylan, on the road. When you look at it overall, with West Ham slipping up today to Aston Villa, is obviously that was a great result for us today. They were leading 2-1 as well, so I was worrying. Yeah. Forest had a great win against Spurs as well today, so I was worrying. Leeds United, of course, going last, and the teams in and around us are both potentially going to pick up 3 points. So thankfully, Aston Villa did do that. But Dylan, we're 3 points now above the relegation zone, above West Ham United. Unfortunately, we didn't get all 3 today. But that's what we want to do, Dylan. Just keep putting points on the board. When the teams around us slip up, we need to keep putting points on the board, isn't it? Palace up next. Elland Road. Chance to put 3 points on the board again.
I've said it numerous times, and I know I'm disappointed with this one, but a point is a point, regardless. It could be a point that saves us towards the end of the season. But then on the other side of it, you could have said we missed out on 2 points. But look, it's positives, lads, and it's on the road, Darren. I think that's really what we need to be happy with. It was on the road, and it was in London, so we'll take it and we move on. Going into Palace, same thing again. Hopefully there's no injuries. Every player comes out unscathed, but yet again, we kind of need to be at that kind of, from the get-go, the tempo. The tempo is really important now. And then it could be, a question to be asked if he does change the formation, go back to the 4-3-3, or. But it's great to see that you can do it in-game management. That's the main thing. So plan B is a must.
Yeah, I think so as well. Gomez gang has one here as well. I want to speak about the referee a little bit, because he thought the referee was poor. Brentford had a few yellows in the game. 15 minutes would have put those players on tender hooks. I thought that as well, Dylan. I thought, again, the referee, and it seems to be saying every game in the Premier League was poor, particularly the whole VAR decisions as well for me today was slowing the whole game down. That decision on Goodmunson, Dylan, you could see for me as clear as day that he was offside from the moment we seen the first one. The checking the foul, then they go check the offside, and you're nearly 3 minutes then checking one thing. It's a load of shit, isn't it? VAR slows the whole thing down. Even though, look, in game, if VAR wasn't there, the ref is obviously giving a penalty to Brentford, but just frustrating, isn't it? Like the whole
stop start. Yeah, it's like, and 9 times out of 10, they get something wrong, or you're kind of looking at it, and then they just do a crazy statement to come out with something silly altogether. But I think the ref couldn't get control of that game, Darren. As I said, you go back to certain challenges that we had, clear as daylight. They were for Brentford. He wasn't giving them; he was just letting them play on. So, you see big chances like that, or big decisions. He was going to VAR. You could see it all the time. He was more included into his earpiece than he was in the game itself.
I'll speak a little bit, Dylan, about the midfield 3, because we've seen Tanaka come back in. Obviously, he didn't start against Liverpool. Came on. We obviously know he gets the goal. So Gruev dropped off to the bench today. What did you make of the midfield 3 today? Thought the first half we were good, but then again, you could feel a little bit of a taper off.
I thought Ampadu was actually very good today again.
Me too, yeah.
I thought he was grabbing the game by both hands.
He was unlucky. He had a good strike just wide the post. He was unlucky.
I actually thought Kelleher saved that. He didn't hit the water bottle. I was convinced. The noise that was behind it, I actually thought it was a save.
Yeah.
But no, Darren, he was making a lot of runs. He was trying to drag everyone up the pitch. Out between the 3 of them in the midfield, I thought he was one that stood out. Stack for me. He had one chance. He fell over the ball. He laid it off to Jaden Bogle, and he just hoofed it. But I think he could have had a shot himself. At times, though, he showed his standing, tackling sort of thing. He was winning the ball at times. But yet again, we couldn't really kind of get going in midfield. And I thought Tanaka went missing at times. I don't know about you. I expected more from Tanaka. He actually had a very bad challenge on him, Tanaka.
Yeah, he was lucky. It was very hard to
but I just think the midfield, I expected more, Darren. I really expected more.
I think that was a game that I look at today, and I thought, you're looking at Sean Longstaff in there, someone with a bit of legs, Premier League experience that can kind of drive. So I felt like we were missing a little bit of legs in midfield. Ampadu was trying to do what Stack was as well. I actually thought Stack was pretty poor today, lads, to be honest with you. I know he was getting on the ball a lot, but it just felt like he was giving it away, his set pieces. But it just felt like we were missing that again, that kind of box to box, someone to kind of drive us up the pitch a little bit more, and we're kind of intense. So that was a game that I was looking at. I was like, oh, I wish Longstaff was available today. But Dylan, look at, as I said, overall, it's a frustrating one for Leeds United. It really is. If you had said before the game, I think any Leeds United fan go down to Brentford, take a point, we probably would have said, yeah. But just the way the game went, it just felt like Leeds United, it could have been all 3 if we just went for it a little bit more, taking the shackles off, and probably rolled the dice around the 60th minute and brought Nanto and Brendan Aronson on, went back to the 4-3-3 and actually went at Brentford. It felt like they were there for the taking today, and we didn't go for it.
But, apart from Brentford's goal, they didn't actually offer anything as such. So the ball was in our court. We should have been a bit more on the end of our. Look, loads of chances that we had. We were just unlucky.
Yeah.
But the point, I'm happy with the point, lads. Regardless, it's a point on the road and it's in London, but it is frustrating considering the performance, so the last three performance recently, how well we kind of fought our way back into the game. I know they were at home, I do get that, but even the City game away, the second half in particular, it was a completely different Leeds United that came out. So yet again, Fark needs to kind of get his substitutions right, and be proactive, as what we always keep saying. But for me, I don't know about you lads, but I think Nanto's shown enough to start the next game.
It was one of them before the game that I was thinking, could we maybe start Nanto instead of Okafor?
Yes.
Up beside Calvert-Lewin, because it'd be interesting to see how the two of them would play off each other. I think Calvert-Lewin knocking the ball down to Willie Nanto being able to find Calvert-Lewin like the way he did in that game. There's just something there that I'd like to see. I'd like to see it for one game, and I know it was always going to be Okafor. As soon as we heard Lucas Mecha was injured, I think we all knew it was going to be Noah Okafor. But it felt like there was a chance there to start Willie Nanto today up beside Calvert-Lewin and see what they could do. Kind of the big man, small man, kind of sort of vibe. So it's definitely something I'd be looking at, Dylan. Maybe the Palace game, if we could try that and see what Willie Nanto could do in there. Obviously, look at depending if Lucas Mecha is available, he's ready for that game. He's probably going to come back in. But my kind of main take from the whole game, Dylan, is obviously it's frustration. The 3-5-2 works for us in certain games, not all games. So I don't think this is it, and that's the system. When we don't deviate from this, I still do think we need that flexibility. Some games maybe go with the 4-3-3, see who we're setting up and who we're playing against. But I think teams now are starting to expect this from Leeds United and are starting to kind of counteract that a little bit, because you can see when we do change against Liverpool, we got back on top. Today, when we change against Brentford, we're able to get ourselves back into the game as well. So I wouldn't be rigid to this 3-5-2 either. It's not fully convinced me yet that this is it. I still want to see that flexibility.
You said it a couple of videos ago, Darren, about, I think you alluded to Man City and how much Pep changes his team, whether it's players or formation or certain tactics. Yeah. The Premier League, we all know, is the most gruesome league in the world. It's a lot of chops, a lot of changes, more historical things happening in this league every year as the year goes on. And I think Fark is really starting to realise that he can't be just set to one system and certain individuals. He has to utilise the whole team. He has to. Whether it's certain players like Gruev being integrated back into the team, I think is brilliant. I'm being honest with you, because every game that I've seen him so far, I think he's done well. So I know he didn't start today, but I think he had to start Tanaka anyway. But going forward, Fark needs to start coming out with more formations or tactics, start utilising certain players and positions.
I don't know, if it is about that, Dylan. I think it's more so away from home, is that, especially against the likes of Brentford, is don't be afraid to go for it. Don't be afraid to let the shackles off. It feels like ever since Daniel Farke has become manager at Leeds United away from home, look at those games in the Championship, you pull back to Watford away from home and all. There's times where he does let the shackles off, but there's a lot of games where it feels like Leeds are very restricted away from home. We're very rigid, and he doesn't really kind of let us kind of go for the juggler when you can see teams are there to be taken. It's always very much dead set. And again, it always seems to be chalk and cheese at Elland Road. It seems like we go for every game, no matter who we're up against. So there is the games, particularly against teams like this that are around us. I would like to see Leeds United go for it a little bit more, put our foot on the gas and see what we can do. And as I said, take the shackles off against, the bigger teams, of course. It's understandable. But it's a frustrating one. You take the point, you move on, but there's just a little bit of a part of me there going, yeah, we could have got all three if we actually just went for it. It was one of them games. It was just a boring game of football. It's not one that's going to live long in the memory. You're not going to think about this halfway through the season. Wasn't that Brentford game brilliant? It was a bad game of football, and it lacked quality all around from both sides.
Yeah, I think it's well summed up. On to the next one. To be honest with you, it was very, very boring. It really was boring.
Gomez Gang says, what happened to Stack's corners along the floor hitting the first man? I've no idea. That this my pet hate in football is, I just don't know how a professional footballer can't beat the first man. Or, if it is a tactic where you're going to hit the front post, I'm like, fine, but whip it in with a bit of venom. A lot of his set pieces today were really poor. And like what you said, Gomez, along the floor, hitting the first defender. It was just, it was bad today, all set pieces. And deliveries into the box, I thought, was poor for most of the game, apart from Willie Nantos. When we went 4-3-3, you see we're a little bit more open on the wings, even though we equalised with that formation. Yeah, naturally we're going to be, aren't we? We're naturally going to be a little bit more acceptable on the wings, 100%. Dylan, anything else to say before we wrap it up for the instant match reaction?
No, just thank to everyone that tuned in. We go again next week, and hopefully Leeds will get out of the rut, because that was very boring. That was very boring, lads. I have to be honest with you. I'm gonna go downstairs now and try rewatch it. I'm gonna try anyway. I'm gonna try rewatch it.
We'll be back tomorrow night for a talking point as well, where we break it all down. We get another look at it, watch the highlights. Unfortunately. And we will be back tomorrow for that. So don't forget to drop a like on the video, guys. Hit subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy it. That's it from us. Mind yourselves. Mind each other. We'll catch you in the next one.